Hi, this is Tim Prigon, and it's Thursday, March 5th. And just want to kind of give a quick update on the storm chances tomorrow night across the area. There is a chance for severe weather. I don't think it's really, really high around the St. Louis area, but I do think there is a chance that, we could see some hail and some gusty winds and maybe just a brief tornado in the immediate area, but I don't think it's going to be very much. But just want to kind of go through the model here. This is the HRR I'm just going to show you, and then show you a couple soundings of what's going on. So the first thing I want to do here, this is the HRR model, and this is the run from this afternoon. This is the noon run. So here we go. As we head through tonight, you can see the heavier storms up here through Iowa. This is 3 a.m. tomorrow morning, and then more storms out here. All this moves off to the north and west, and we are just left with a warm, dry day tomorrow. So it looks like temperatures getting up in the upper 70s, maybe towards 80 degrees. And then we got the storms that are going to be developing out across Oklahoma and into western Missouri. And I just want to show you a sounding of western Missouri here. This is what is looking like. This is the pre-storm environment across this area here. So one thing that really kind of stands out to me is this lapse rate here. These are lapse rates in certain columns or certain sections of the atmosphere. And once we get lapse rates in the 700 to 500 millibar range and the 3 to 6 kilometer range from 8 or above, that's very strong. We can get decent hail when the lapse rates are around 7, but once you get up towards 8, there could be some pretty big hail up through here across western Missouri. You got a lot of cape through this area right here. Remember, this is the normal lapse rate. This is the actual lapse rate, and the space between here is the cape. So we're getting a lot of cape, good lapse rates right through the hail zone, and we could get at least 2-inch hail across some of the spots across western Missouri. I do think that's going to be fading and weakening as it heads towards us. So I do think that we do have a chance for a little hail around here across eastern Missouri and into far southern Illinois, but certainly don't think it's going to be like that. Marginal severe weather, I think, is what we can call it here in St. Louis. So let's move on through here. So this is tomorrow. This is about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The storms are developing. And you can see here as we move through times, you can see these little cells developing. These are the ones that could be the hail producers. Okay. And maybe even a tornado or two out through here. They do have enough shear out there. So as we move it through the time frame here, you can see it's coming up towards I-44 here. This is at midnight. And then as we go through the midnight hour, we can actually see this little black circle right here. That's an upward helicity draft, and that could produce some hail across right through there. That's just the models where it's depicting it. So it could be anywhere in these lines here. And then it moves off to the east, and it's raining pretty good here at 3 o'clock in the morning. And again, marginal severe weather, I think. Just gusty winds. Actually, let's take a look at the wind here that it's showing. It is showing some winds. Let's just take a look at this one here. It has winds of getting upwards of 50 knots, I think, 45, 50 knots. So 50-mile-an-hour winds with some of these cells. And let's go back to the precipitation. And as it moves on through, initially is when we're going to have the threat for any severe weather. I think so. Once it gets past this, is just basically heavy rain and some lightning. Then it moves off to the east. The only thing that's going to kind of got me a little concerned is the NAMs. They're a little bit more robust with the storms and holding into the steep lapse rates and maybe the tornado potential overnight. I think that's an outlier, but we'll keep an eye on it, and Jenny will keep you updated tomorrow with her forecast. But again, just as we head into tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow afternoon should be fine. It looks like it's an after midnight thing tomorrow night. Let's go back to the HRR, and we'll go through it one more time here. Moving into the Springfield area here about 7 o'clock, and then up towards Rolla and through the Lake of the Ozarks about 10, 11 o'clock, and then moves into the St. Louis area here about 1, 2 o'clock, and then it's all off to the east by about 9, 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. So that's my update. Just be aware overnight, Friday night and the Saturday morning, marginal severe at this point. If it gets a little bit more dicey and we see differences in the models, or the models are starting to show more of a threat, we'll keep you updated. Thanks for watching.